Hey everyone, my name is Jackie Hastings and I'm one of your Sapphires with Team Impact, and I'm really excited to be kicking off our new book, which I've set down. There we go. I have so many books around here. It's crazy. So I was going to grab the wrong one. But Valorie Burton, she was one of the keynote speakers for Super Saturday, and she was incredible. And so I am really, really excited to hear from her again. And I know this book is Successful Women Think Differently. I think the terms in it and the things are really applicable to men and women, but I also appreciate the fact that she talked about some things that are inherently or seem to be more more applicable to women too. So not only for us as women to be aware of, but for guys to help us women with as well. Because if we know the things that are going on with other people, then we have more of an opportunity to help them too. So um, I took a ton of notes because I thought this was amazing. So when she first started off in this book, and if you just skipped and read the first habits, go back. You need to read the intro parts too, because they're incredible. I took so many notes from them. But fear. So a lot of times, and I was really guilty of this too, so many of us, especially my generation, I'm in my later 40s now, and we were pushed to go to college, do this, have a family, do all these things. And if we chose to do something differently, from that standpoint at that very beginning, we would have been looked down upon because our family was wanting all this higher education. My mom, she did not complete her college education. My dad, he did not either. He had a journeyman's card, which is amazing, but we were the first generation in our family to graduate with college degrees, and our parents were really proud of that. So not following that track in their dreams would have been heartbreaking to them. So we did it. And you guys, I have to tell you, it felt good at times, but then there were other times it wasn't fulfilling. And the times where we were having to make these calls of, my happiness for the expectations of others was crummy, and it's tearing, and it gives you ulcers and all of those bad things and anxiety, and it makes you have a bad relationship with work, and it can have an effect on your husband and your kids and all of those things, because it just feels like a lot of weight on our shoulders for us, not feeling like we're capable of saying no to those things and pursuing something that makes us happy. So I like the quote where it says other pursued dreams directly, when they were looking at the two different people. So the people who followed that original path like we did and weren't happy, it didn't work out great. But the people who pursued their dreams directly and had the mindset, if it didn't work out, I'll try something else, they were happier. They weren't locked in. They felt they could take on these different bumps and do different things. So I thought that was really helpful, and definitely something to think about right now, because I know a lot of you have kids or you have different things you want to be doing, or this weather has been amazing and you're sitting outside going, man, I am stuck behind a desk and this is crummy. I could think of 80 million things I want to do. Or, with all the work I've been doing in my garden, people say, oh, I love, seeing the different things that you're doing. I wish that I had the time to do that too. Well, you know what? We all have the same 24 hours in the day. It's what you choose to do with those hours that's going to allow you to do those things or not. So, I like to, you have to talk about living a life on purpose and what you're really wanting to do. To admit there's something you want that you might not get can be really hard. And it's easier to pretend you never wanted it than to go after it and fail. I mean, how many people start off a new business? And I'm not just saying with Plexus, but whether it's a store or a restaurant, some other online business, it's scary. And there's going to be bumps. I mean, 2020 was a heck of a bump for a lot of people. And there's still a lot of recovery, trying to get people to work, all those different things. And there's going to be times that it doesn't go well. So a lot of times people won't even try because they don't want to admit failure, and they see that as a failure, and they don't want to be embarrassed. How many of us go out and say, yeah, my career right now, I'm a network marketer. Are you embarrassed of saying that? And why are you? Right? Yeah, I see Jenny laughing. Yeah, I mean, it's like, because you're not full into it yet, and it's hard. I like to when they talked about women feel significantly more guilty and distressed about work intrusions at home, calls and emails and outside work hours take a greater emotional toll on us. And whether it's the estrogen or what, or guys can compartmentalize better, I don't know. Um, or if we're just feeling we have to do everything, I've started telling or asking my husband, honey, I need to do this. I need you to help the kids with this. I don't have to be the one that's always doing the homework with the kids. I don't have to be, even though I feel like that's my job. There's two of us. This is a partnership. We're in it together. And, if we want to continue to have me be able to do this stuff with my kids and flex around and do different things, I need help. And it's okay to admit that. So take it, it's not admitting failure or defeat. So I liked how they talk about successful women are generous. They are givers who believe not only in themselves, but in the potential of others. And when they succeed, they bring others along with them. Because that's like what we do all the time, right? I don't want to be in Hawaii or Mexico by myself. I excited about how many people are coming to convention with us. There's so many times when people are going for a rank up where they're all of their uplines and different things. We're up late because we are so excited to see people going for these goals. And honestly, I'm more excited about it when people are hitting those goals than when I go for them myself. We bring people along with, and if we look at our different diamonds and in pink power and even just plexus as a total, they're not taking all that money and digging it and putting it in a hole. It's like the story of the man with the talents. He didn't just put them in a hole. It's the one who was doing things with them and giving that had more growth and felt better and all those things. So the more that we're able to earn, the more that we're able to give to others. And then we can share not just that money with others, but the opportunity with others, which is what we're doing all the doggone time. So definitely too here, you cannot live your life's purpose unless you're in some way serving others. And that's one of the big things that I've loved about Plexus is it's given me the ability to step away from a super well-paying PT job to substitute teaching periodically at school because they need help, or being the front office person sitting behind the desk. You guys, I drive the old falling apart band van and I love it. So that service to others makes my heart smile more than any of those things. But I couldn't do it if I didn't do the other stuff. So look at the things you want to be able to do. So definitely the negative emotions, because these are those little bad voices, right? How many times have you asked somebody to join your team? You want to help them. You go through all the things that they've got going wrong and you're like, this is going to be a great fit for you. I know this will help you. I can't wait for you to feel better. Or how many of us who know people who are struggling financially and we have all the tools to help them. We lay it out, all these things. We're super excited about it. They seem excited and then they never do anything. And then you go home and you sit there and you're like, well, I stink. I can't do this. I'm awful. All these things that you're seeing bad that you did wrong. Well, guess what? You're going to self-sabotage yourself. The more you tell yourself you're doing poorly, the more poorly you're going to do, right? We're not in charge of those other people. They have their own free will. So definitely knowing that there's going to be some hard times and we've got to be resilient through them. So, we're going to have obstacles, but successful women think differently. You look at men, when you look at those obstacles, you go, oh, okay, this is a way I can learn and grow. So that person, when you have that all laid out, did you ask them enough questions? Were you talking too much? Were you making sure you were listening to their goals? Or, you know what, is this somebody that you need to circle back with? And I can tell you, some of the people that I've had sign up again recently are people that I have circled back with, or they fell off the face of the earth and just messaged me out of the blue or whatnot. So never give up. And you guys, I've been doing this for almost 7 years now. So definitely something to think about, looking at how you can change and grow and do different things. And the joy of the Lord is your strength. I love that quote from Nehemiah. Just think about how you're serving others, how you're helping others, how you're pleasing others, and find that true joy. Because our Lord is love, and looking at love and joy in my heart, they kind of go together. So looking at how you can love and serve others through this. And if you have those things, it doesn't matter how many people tell you no. It doesn't matter how many people turn off their subscription. It doesn't matter if you fall in rank or you don't get those things. Maybe you didn't earn the shaker bottle. Whoop-de-doo, you've got a bigger goal and purpose, and let's rebuild and grow. I loved the 7 key decisions. I do not downsize my dreams. How many of us have set small goals so that we don't have the fear of not hitting them? I focus on solutions, not problems, right? I choose to be authentic. I didn't do my hair. I mean, it is what it is, and this is the real me. So I'm not going to fake something that I'm not. I'm not going to be doom and gloom, but be you. I choose courage over fear. I choose relationships wisely and nurture them intentionally. You guys, don't surround yourself with negative people who are woe is me's. They're going to suck the life out of you. You are the summary of the people that you hang out with. I will actively seek feedback and use it to grow. You guys, this one's hard. Nobody wants to be told that we're not doing something correctly all the time. And there's ways that we can ask for that feedback, and we need to, because we don't live in a bubble. We need help, and not just seeking negative feedback. Sometimes it's okay for somebody to tell you you're doing well at something. How many of you are good at taking a compliment, or somebody says, man, you did a really great job on that, or I really like your shirt? Is your instinct to go, oh, no, that wasn't that big? Or is your instinct to say, no, I got this on clearance at the dollar store and it was fantastic, right? Take those wins. People are noticing it, and it's okay. You're not being greedy. And then the last one, I know my purpose and take daily action in the direction of my vision. So you guys, that's our IPA. There's somebody on this call who hit some big goals the other day, and they're fantastic. And in self-reflection, this person said, I doubled down on my IPA. I was stronger about it. Yeah, I got tired, but you know what? It was worth it. So if you really want this, you can do it. And this is somebody who's working a job, has grandkids, has kids, has life, has all these things. If you want it, you will do it. You will find a way. Somebody can put that kid to bed at night. You can take it 30 minutes out of your day and do these things. So the habits and consistency. You can't go at it hard one day, not do anything for 20 days, and at the end of the month, hope magic happens. It's not going to happen. It might, but how consistent is that going to be? So if you continually take steps in the right direction, you'll eventually arrive at your destination. So it may take longer steps. It may be a longer journey, but you will get there. Believe you can do it. So, we've talked about before, your self-fulfilling prophecy. If you go into a game, say, man, our team is awful and we are not going to win. Why did you even show up? I mean, that was stupid. You're not going to win. You might pull one out of your hiney, but it's not great. Don't be self-defeating. And those are huge. We have so many people say, I can't do this. Nobody's going to follow me. I don't have this degree. I'm not a people person. Well, if you believe those things about you, those people are going to believe them too. And are they going to want to follow you? Are they going to do these things? So looking at optimism versus pessimism, I used to say, expect the worst and hope for the best. That's not really the best thing to do. And I'm working on that consistently. Being able to explain failures in terms of the things that they can take control over is important. So people who are optimistic do that, whereas you people who are pessimistic, they blame everybody else. They blame the sun, they blame the time of day, they blame the economy, they blame all of these other things when they're not taking a look at themselves and what they've actually done. And when you feel like you don't have control over any of these outside factors, you become depressed and you give up because you don't feel that you have the ability to take action on anything. So I think that that's pretty important. Then they were talking about mindset, and we've done a lot of different things on mindset. She talked about Dr. Carol Dweck. I have one of her books on mindset. We can learn to fulfill our potential, and it's talking about parenting, business, school, and relationships. And I thought it was really interesting when they talk about a fixed versus growth mindset. And this, we had a really good example of just today. Even I was talking with one of my coworkers at the school, and our two daughters are in their freshman year over at our high school together. And her daughter has always been a super crazy overachiever. Love her, very focused. My daughter, she does very well, but she could do even better if she put a little more effort into it. But that's just not where she's at. It's hard for me to accept that, but it is what it is. But when I look at these two girls, they do group studies and they'll work on homework together and stuff, which is great because they can all bounce ideas off of each other. And they did this one assignment, and the teacher gave 4 kids who basically had the same thing, 4 different grades. One got a 95, one got 100, one got an 85, and one of them got a 90. And it was the super overachiever girl who got an 85. And she was really crushed because she's used to getting 100. I mean, if she gets a 99, it's partially acceptable, but an 85 was like crushing. And so she got the courage to speak to her instructor and say, I don't understand, can you explain to me what my grade, why I got an 85 on this? And his words were, you don't always have to get a perfect grade. And she was crushed because she knew she had done the work, and he expected more from her because he knew that she could do more. So when I was looking at that, everybody's always said that she's been very gifted in school and all of these things, which is fantastic until it's not. Because when that gifted becomes a label that you're constantly having to live up to, that is a huge weight, and that is hard. And I am going to be giving Taylor's friend and her mom this book to read. So when you don't succeed, it can be devastating. Constantly having to prove how smart and how gifted you are can keep you from going outside your comfort zone. And you don't grow. And even my older sister, she was the valedictorian in all this. And when she had things that she started not doing well at, she tanked. She did very poorly. She developed some really bad habits that nearly killed her. So it's really important to identify this and look at the growth mindset. Looking at some of the kids who have a harder time in school, and they look at, man, I've got to work harder, and I can do this if I work hard. You've got these challenges that you can learn from, and you can grow, and you can do these things. And I loved how it says, if you believe you can improve, you are not intimidated by the idea that your abilities are not currently as great as you would like them to be. So I thought that was really important for looking at our kids and us and all of that too. On page 32, he had some questions to ask. When they went through and were asking those questions, and I think it's really important, and then on page 33, truly successful people ask for opportunities. So a lot of times we'll do this post and pray phenomenon. We put up a post and we expect everybody to flock to us and sign up and do all these things, right? But we really need to ask people. And that's why that IPA includes asking people in those conversations and doing those things. So truly successful people ask for opportunities. They don't just market, they also sell. Selling's not a bad word, guys, okay? It is if we're creepy about it, but we don't have to be. And they put forth a lot of effort, which in no way diminishes their talent. Instead, it shows their commitment, not just because you believe it will diminish your talent, is simply prideful. And pride is a big, ugly, fat sin. So even today, when I was helping my daughter, she cracked the screen on her phone. And we got a new phone for her, the screen, right? And you have to transfer your data over. And as we're on the phone with this lady, she is asking, oh, do you have other devices connected to your Wi-Fi? And she's like, oh, yeah. And so the lady starts asking me, oh, well, we have this insurance program that's available that will protect all these other devices in your home, even if they're not Verizon, blah, blah, blah. She was asking for that sale, even though I had seen it on the web page that I had to go to in order to get this phone replacement for my daughter. I said, oh, I happened to see that on the web page yesterday when I was filling out the information to get this replacement. I'm not interested at this point. We're good. Well, are you sure? And she's asking more questions. So if you think about it, she's not being a jerk. She's just doing her job. Even though I had seen it posted, she was asking specifically about it because people don't always read things or they just need to hear it differently, right? So that's definitely something for us to keep in mind. We were talking about, does a growth mindset negate your strengths? And we talked about this when we went through the Strength Finders book, where knowing what your strengths are is a good starting point. And then we know what other skills we can develop. And then we want to stretch beyond that comfort zone. So I liked where it said, what if God is calling you out of your comfort zone to stretch and break free of your fear of rejection and failure? Ooh, that's a big one, right? It's nice to stay in our little comfy hole, but that's not where we're meant to be. We were given gifts and talents, and they're not meant to be wasted, guys. So, just like, when we know how we can help people, we want to do it, whether it's plexus or, helping somebody hold the door, whatever it is, do it. And knowing what those strengths are and putting those seeds in of what if you could do these things. So looking at how do you explain your recent successes or failures, going through those exercises and something that you see that was an epic fail, go through and find out why, write down why you thought you failed. And when you're analyzing that, was it outside forces or was it something you did? Where are you putting, I don't want to say blame, or, where are you putting the reasons for that? And then what about one of the things you succeeded at? Are you as quick to give others credit for your successes versus taking some of the credit yourself? The person that did really well the other day with some goals, she needs to take credit for actually putting all that hard work in, even though it was hard. And she's going to be humble about it, which is awesome. But don't just say, oh, things were lining up correctly. Do the work, take the credit for it. And with that, we start to get into that imposter syndrome. I know several jewels and diamonds who have been in this issue of, man, I don't belong here. What in the world? Where do I have, why in the world can I be making, 6 figures a year from my phone? How in the world can I be laying on the beach in Mexico? These are all things where like, I don't deserve this. You guys, I just, got off planting plants. Why do I deserve to be able to sit in front of you guys today and go through this book and that with you? It's hard, but you know what? It's because we worked at it, and it's okay. And taking that and knowing that true success is not anxious or doubtful, but confident and at peace. If pessimistic, then you use your power to renew those thoughts by choosing a new outlook. So flip it. And on page 40, there were a lot of really good flips that I liked. So when we are looking at things and we're like, when you succeed and you attribute it to internal factors, flip it, because a lot of times we're attributing it to the others. So make sure, like, if we have a time that we fail, see it as a temporary thing rather than permanent. So it's definitely a lot of flipping those switch instead of staying in that hole. We always talk about that hole is a place that we can go into a little bit, but don't set up your living space there. And when a friend throws you a ladder or a shovel, are you going to use that shovel to dig out, or are you going to dig your hole deeper? And we've all been guilty of it. We're learning and growing. The 4 questions to conquer excuses. So we often have a case of excuse-itis. I can't get on book club tonight. I'm too busy. I can't send a message to somebody tonight. I'm too tired. I can't do this because my husband says I can't. You guys, come on. It's 2 minutes. You can do this. You can do anything for a little bit out of that comfort zone. So asking, what is my excuse? What does it give me the permission to do or not do? Do you really need to give yourself permission to sit and watch a movie when you could take a minute? I mean, Yoshana, she's double teaming here. She's always on her treadmill on book club. She's making good use of her time. She could say, well, I can't exercise because I have to be on book club. she's not. So I really appreciate that. She's a great example today. So if I could no longer use this excuse, what would I have to do instead? Oh man. So if I said I couldn't get on book club because I had to exercise, I don't have to exercise. Yay. Not good, right? Why don't I just do it now? So we spend a lot of time thinking about why we're not doing things. Just do the dang thing. Quit wasting time. So you can either choose to pursue your dreams or not. And what are you going to lose if you don't, right? Drive to the UP. Come on up, Elizabeth. So give yourself permission to hope again. You guys, we all go through dark days. We all have bad times. We all have bad moments, but we can either say that that's where we're at, or we can move it, right? Give yourself permission to hope again. Be honest enough to acknowledge the real desires of your heart. What do you really want to do? Do you really want to do what you're doing now, or do you want your life to be differently? I look on here and we've got our friend Lauren, who has gone through all of these struggles, and she is now sitting at home with a new 1-week-old baby. If she had given up hope and not given herself enough permission to go with the real desires of her heart, she wouldn't be called mommy right now. These are things, you guys. It's not just about plexus. It's about all the things we want to do. So there's no time for putting everyone else's agenda ahead of God's plan for you. Quit listening to those negative voices and think about what you're really being called to do. So you guys know I'm a spiritual person. I'm not going to apologize for hurting your feelings if you're not. Just who I am. But believe with God, all things are possible. Be optimistic versus pessimistic. And then on page 45, review those questions for personal coaching. So on that note, I know I'm a little long-winded, but it was three sections actually. So I'm going to be quiet now and let whoever else wants to speak.
Okay, I have something to say. Let's see. It just went blank.
Guys are quiet tonight, killing me. How about who would like to talk about one of the
Sorry,
else
it
unmuted.
was like cutting in and out. Is it coming in? Okay, I don't know what happened. Okay, so I had to write notes so I could keep up with what I want to talk about. Otherwise, I'd forget. So the first thing I wanted to share that I really liked is, again, serving others, and how plexus just reinforces that with everything, especially if you're a Christian. That should be like one of your core values, is serving other people. So if you have that as a core value, I do, it just aligns perfectly with what we're doing. And then just accepting the fact that obstacles are going to be a part of the journey, and trying your best not to compare your journey to someone else's, and doing that mindset shift again. There's a girl, I don't know how, she's a woman. She just ranked up. There's tons of rank ups. Like there was a team in like full-fledged momentum. We just saw it and it was awesome to watch. But part of me was like, I mean, my team did great this month, don't get me wrong, but there's still, like, oh, should I be further along? Should I be at this point or this point? And I almost didn't read her post, but I did. So I took the time to read her post, and it was great. Her heart is like so pure. And she was talking about basically this, like, there have been the highest of highs, the lowest of lows throughout this journey of her ranking. I think she hit Emerald, which is my goal again for this year, just being honest with everybody. So she talked a lot about the right timing and who you are as a person currently. And then it made me think about, I have 2 people on my team who are actively working, and it's super fun. But had I gotten those girls at the beginning when I started, I wouldn't have fostered those relationships correctly. I wouldn't have coached them the way that I can coach them now. And God knows the timeline. I don't know the timeline, but Jackie made a comment like, or no, this was on a Ruby call, and Fallon or Jamie, I think it was Fallon, was talking about, you want those people who are stubborn, kind of don't take it to heart. Those are the people you want because they already think they know it all. So they do become good leaders. And that was me. I thought I knew it all. And so Rochelle was trying to coach me.